they're seen as this disgusting patriarchal society. No, these are men who are fighting for the women and children. This week, Mark Lawrence, a candidate for reform, got himself into a bit of trouble by talking about women staying at home with their children. So he's of the belief that women should have the ability and the choice to stay at home to bring up their children. And I completely agree. Now, I want to say that I am not a person that's like only women should bring up children in the home. No. If a man wants to stay at home with the children and the woman works or vice versa, then by all means, I'm fine with that. But I do believe that one parent needs to stay at home with their children to bring them up. I don't agree with the fact that people put their children into care, sometimes from 8 in the morning all the way to 6 at night. So that's beyond school hours, just so that both parents can work. And I know people are going to say, oh, but it's not conducive in this society to be able to have one parent working. Well, I am living proof that you can. Matthew, you were living proof as well.
Yeah, I am actually. I was just thinking, well, I'm the opposite. My wife is the breadwinner for the most part.
Right.
Even when I was self-employed and making, bringing in little bits of work here and there.
Yeah.
She was the ultimate person who supported the house when we had our first child, or our only child.
Right, yeah.
I was the person who did, nursery drop off and all this stuff, and there we go. And so let me ask you the question, Faith.
Okay.
Did you stay at home when you had your kids?
I absolutely did. I did. I was working when I had my first child, and I decided to carry on work because my husband didn't have a very good job and we were just about making ends meet. But then I saw the effect it was having on my eldest son to have to drop him off, thankfully, to my parents. But still, he wasn't with his mum. He wasn't with his dad. It's still not the same. Even though they can be in a loving environment, they have to be with a parent. I think that's really, really important. And so I decided to give up work. And it was tough. I'm not going to lie. It was tough when you're living off one person's wage and that wage doesn't stretch, right? However, thankfully, I'm in a church that's a real village. And everybody helped out, right? Thankfully, we've got a food bank and everything, and we didn't have those things set up when I had children. But now that my boys are older, I could see the need for it. And if we were more of a community that lent itself to helping each other out, helping each other's needs, and weren't a society built on materialism. Now, I'm all for capitalism, right? I do like elements of capitalism. I think it's needed. But this materialism that we live by, where we go to have the lovely house, the brand new house with the brand new furniture and the lovely cars outside, and, that we are chasing after things that are meaningless and forfeiting our children when they're young, and the time spent with them. And I count those 10 years and more. I can't even think how old my youngest is, but he's in comp now. But I count all of those years as a privilege to be at home with my children and to bring my children up, to take them to school, to pick them up, to cook all the meals, to clean the house, to be that person that brought an atmosphere where my kids couldn't wait to get home. They'd always say in the car when we go back to the house, home sweet home. And they still do it. They actually still do it, Matthew. And I think our children have it. Matthew has got a daughter who's my goddaughter. And she's a beautiful young woman who's benefited from having her dad at home.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You can see there's a settledness about our kids. Now, I'm not degrading anybody that has to go to work, okay? If you have to go to work, you have to go to work. A lot of single parents don't have a choice. However, you need to be in communities that can help. When you had work on, Matthew, you had those freelance things. I looked after Olivia.
You did a few times, yeah. And my parents, would help out, and you have to make life work, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And so you have to have a friendship group and a village. And that's why I encourage people, go to church. Go to church and find a village of people that are willing to help you through those years. I've got a friend, Katie, who I've done a lot of previous filming with for other projects. And she's got a baby and she's got a toddler. And it's been many times she's just gone over there to help out, clean the house or whatever, because it's a village. And so please don't put down what this guy is saying, because what this guy is saying is absolutely correct. For psychologists will agree as well, science will agree that children benefit with parents at home.
And do you know what I think? I think the left often want to frame this belief that ultimately it's better for women to be at home for everything we've talked about. They want to frame it as belief, that the belief is radical and it's just so far out there that you must be an idiot, you must be completely nonsensical person if you truly believe this. And I completely disagree with that. It's like the conversation has just been completely bulldozed. It's obvious that a child is going to be, as you said, better growing up with a parent, and yet they come with this kind of false superiority that you believe that,
yeah.
And it's not conducive. We haven't had the discussion, and yet anyone who actually comes up and says this is backwards, ultimately, for believing something that they don't agree with, and that's just nonsense.
But these are the same lefties that bash women if they feed their children their baby's formula. So they're the ones saying you've got to breastfeed. Now, I'm not being funny. If you're going to breastfeed, you need to be there 24/7. So these women have to stay at home to be able to do the things that these lefty people want these mothers to do, right? So it's I think the left that are coming out against this Mark Lawrence, they are a confused bunch of people because they haven't thought about the continuity of their thoughts, right? What I'm saying is, yes, it is good for a parent to stay at home with a child. No, you shouldn't be trying to attain all the materialism of life, because you will not find happiness in a massive 5-bedroom house or 3 cars on the road. And this is what we're being taught. Women are being taught this now. So they're going down the route of doing OnlyFans and things like this, sex work, because they can earn loads of money to be able to accommodate this lifestyle, only to have a mental breakdown later down the line. What matters in life is family. Just that's what matters. And we've got to get back to the heart of what matters in life. Now, men are coming out, and they'll class them as the right-leaning men, coming out against this narrative of feminism because they're fighting for their families. And that they're seen as this disgusting patriarchal society. No, these are men who are fighting for the women and children. They're fighting for their families, and we need to get back to the heart of making our families our sole purpose in life. Your career won't cut it. It will not fulfill you. Money will not fulfill you. This is why loads of celebrities, they die of drug overdoses, they die from suicide. Why? Because they get to a certain point and it doesn't fulfill them. They realise what does fulfill them, first of all, is Jesus. Trust me, he's the only one who can fulfill you in that level. But also the gift of a family, the gift of having a husband and a wife, the gift of having children. And it comes against the leftist narrative that you can just do whatever you want and then it'll just all be, you'll be fulfilled. No, you can't. So there's something very special, very humbling and just joyous about having a nuclear family and that traditional family where one parent stays at home and the other is the breadwinner. So that's all I've got left to say is don't look to the left, don't look to the right. Look up, Britain.